It's interesting to hear Del kind of share that idea of cultivating relationship, like being in proximity to one another, because when we were deciding to travel on the road, like one of the draws to it for us was our ability as a married couple, but also as a family, to spend more time in proximity together. And I don't think we really thought through the logistics of that means we're going to spend 8 hours inside of a semi-cab on a travel day, which isn't always the most enjoyable in some ways, but that picture of you do need to spend time and energy in cultivating that relationship with another human being. That same kind of exercise and practice is what it takes to cultivate that relationship with God, who is a relational being in the same way.
And it's also helpful because with different friends and in different seasons of our life, don't you like to do different things? Like if you always went to the same restaurant, or you always, I mean, if it got, you get into a rut, right?
Yeah.
Where, and it would also be really odd to be like, no, we have to stay in this rut because our relationship is really important. You know what I mean? Like we don't think that way. We keep freshness and flexibility and creativity, as a part of a relationship that we're developing with people. Why would it be different with God? So there are many different ways, many different places, many different kinds of approaches that bring us joy and bring us connection, and those can be shared with God. So it doesn't all have to look the same way either.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I think is important to note in that, however, is that if our goal is to live every minute of our life with God, and that means we're going to have to be with God in all kinds of different contexts, and many of them very fast-paced. You know, think about your work or all the different things that you do as a household, as a parent, or as a spouse, or in all your different activities. I mean, all those places are really different, and they're a lot of times in our culture very fast-paced. So if we're going to be able to do something fast, i.e., not lose contact with God, it probably means that we're going to have to develop a really felt sense of connection to Him by going slow. So most of us can't go fast until we've gone slow. Maybe that's where the idea of quiet time came, is because instinctively all of us, when we want to really pay attention to something with intention, or we want to master something, or we want to really make priority for something, don't we instinctively sort of move away from the noise? You know, we want to clear out a spot, a place where we can be unhurried and we can be focused.
It's where your clarity,
right.
Your
I mean, the same way
comes
why
from,
you kind of go to a quiet restaurant sometimes with your spouse, because you want to have time to have uninterrupted space. And so I do think, whether it's at 7 a.m. or some other time, the idea of carving out priority points, like in our lives, where we can be unhurried, where we can be focused, where we can give attention, honors the beauty of connection with God, and makes sense to do. And because we live in a time-based culture, if we don't make a point of deciding when we're going to do that, we probably won't. Like I always joke, like, does something really exist if it's not on my calendar?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll leave that to the philosophers, but the reality is, in a time-based culture, if I haven't made up time for it, it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
And so if God and closest to Him and the need to go slow with Him is the greatest opportunity of life, then we're probably going to want to put that on our calendar somewhere.